That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah.
No Freddie, yeah. We're still waiting on you, bro. It's 2025, and he's still off right now. I can't believe it. All right, well, let's get things started tonight. We're out west as the summer tour begins. And we're going to go over the Broncos and the Raiders tonight. Super excited about that.
Raiders.
I'm sorry. My bad. Let's get those introductions started first. Let's go to our guest, our man Lou, and I'm even going to try to mess up that last name, from Predominantly Orange. Welcome into the studio, represent the Broncos today. Welcome in, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I respect you not making an attempt. It can be difficult, but it's pronounced Scataglia. As you could tell, I'm very German, and that was sarcasm.
Yeah, I was going Scataglia or something, so I'm super glad I didn't mess that up. What's up, right? Aloha, the Snowman crew. Welcome in, man. Rising Rhino here. Nice to introduce myself. Nice to meet you, Rising Rhino. We appreciate you dropping in. And then we have on the other side, because we kind of set the summer tour up to be somewhat of a rival type show. So in the other corner, it's Spicy Raider Girl. She's been on the show a few times. Welcome into the studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. This is like our annual meeting here on the kickoff.
Absolutely. That's where we get all our Spicy Raider info from. I heard you had something going on this evening as well. If you want to just plug that real quick.
Yeah, thank you. I do. I had a raffle going on for the Raiders home opener, Monday Night Football against the Chargers, because I'm a season ticket holder. I like to give it back to Raider Nation to try to win these tickets. So everyone that's entered will have a chance to win tonight. We'll do that raffle, I think, a little later in the show.
Wow. So keep it tuned in. Get yourself some free tickets for the Raiders home opener, man. I wish I could have won that, man. I'd just wait. Give me a reason to get to to Las Vegas. Raider Travis, I want to give a shout out. Welcome in.
What's good, Raider Travis?
Raiders shout out. Mother Moon with the heart on there. All right.
No, Jay, you got to do it differently, bro. You got to go Raiders.
Oh,
he only goes 100% for the Dolphins.
Sorry, you meant America's team is what you meant to say. Let's get on to our co-host introductions. We'll go ladies first. Meg, welcome in all the way from across the pond. Appreciate you joining us tonight.
Hey.
Glad to have you in. Justin Jesus Herrera, welcome into the studio, my friend.
Okay, so I always have a story, right? So Oakland Raiders were literally some of the cheapest tickets around, and they were about 20 minutes away from my house. Every time the Oakland Raiders would play the Denver Broncos, the BART would be full of Bronco and Raider fans. There'd always be a guaranteed fight, and I give it to the Broncos 100%. Those are the only people that I ever saw that were ballsy enough to go more than 4 deep into the black hole and not be like totally thrown off before. Because I know Spicy knows about it. The black hole, that's a different level right there. That's some different people right there.
It's only for real Raiders fans too. Like you really gotta be a real Raider fan. Even if you're just a passive Raider fan, like you might not even want to go in that territory.
Yeah, you gotta be mentally insane to be a Raiders fan, honestly.
Listen, if you're 4 deep in the black hole, that's what she said. Raider Travis, say it from the gut. I feel you, my brother. I want to get that Raiders going. Andrew LeDuc, welcome in, Mr. Sophistication himself. Welcome in, my friend.
Only the truest sophistication drink the Bud Heavies. I will take that sponsorship deal. Anheuser-Busch, please. Anywhere. Okay, cool. Also, just side note, we're also live on my TikTok tonight as well on Divots and Pivots. So we're reaching the masses. So
nice. All right, we're happy to have you. Anna Diaz, evening to you as well. And Raider Travis says that's chaos of another level. Love the black hole, indeed. Love it and love. So let's get started tonight. Before we do, let's pay those bills first. If you are playing some daily fantasy this season, go to Fast Trap app, use our promo code TSS. We're going to double your deposit up to $50. That's $100 to throw down on a season. Not too shabby, so make sure you check them out. Also, go check out Pro Am Belts if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, you look no further than Pro-Am Belts. And if you are watching us on YouTube, do us a solid, hit subscribe, give us a like, throw your questions in. We already got a bunch of comments in already. We appreciate that. Little things stopping you from doing it, big things popping for us when you do. So we always appreciate it. All right, well, we got a lot to go over tonight. We're going to talk past, present, future, all that good stuff. So let's kick back, relax, and get back to the summer rerun. Well, you know I got that Miami bass sound in there somehow, some way. All right, let's get started tonight. We're going to talk first about what went on this summer with these two teams. Let's go with ladies first. We'll start out with Spicy Raider Girl, and we'll begin with the off season as far as free agency goes. Had quite a few moves go on with the Raiders. Obviously, we had some people leave, we had some people come. So I'm gonna just go straight to the source. Spicy Raider Girl, give me some of your best free agent acquisitions or people you were upset that left, all that kind of good stuff. Talk to me about your free agency period.
Yeah, listen, when you only win 4 games, you're not really upset that many people are leaving, okay? Including the entire coaching staff. So let's just start there. We're not really crying over anyone leaving. The only person I would have cried about if they left, which he did not leave, and they signed an extension, is my boy Mad Max Crosby. He's probably the most important player on the entire Raiders organization, both for the clubhouse, just worth ethic-wise, and obviously he's just a dog. So I think they showed him some love, some respect, and some loyalty by re-signing him when they didn't need to. That's not typically something the Raiders do, is re-sign players in the middle of a contract. So for me, I know that's not a free agency situation, but that's a huge move. And that says a lot. That says the Raiders finally have a plan to me. They want to keep this team moving forward intact. Speaking of having a plan, another acquisition in a trade, not free agency, though, Geno Smith. I was a little shocked to see that they re-signed or they renegotiated his contract basically before even becoming a Raider almost, right? When I saw they signed him an extension, I was like, what's going on here? But then I kind of had a change of tune. I looked into what he's done, and I like the fact, again, that shows they have a plan. To me, it shows they have a plan. I thought he's going to be a 1-year journeyman type of guy. They've got him for 3 years. That says Carroll wants to stick with that guy. Hey, he declined more money to stick with the Seahawks to come to the Raiders, so that says a lot. And then I think, I can go on and on, but probably the other most notable one was free agency was Jermaine Pratt coming from was it the Bengals? I think it was. I think that's going to be huge for the Raiders. They always got to tighten up that defense. They had a great defense, but I think every little bit helps here. So I would say, just not to take up too much of the time, those are probably like my 3 moves that I'm happy with. And again, I'm not really happy with, or I don't really care about anyone that's left because, like I said, 4 wins.
Feel free to take as much time as you like. That's what we set it up for. You're good. So I'll just want to make one note. You did your favorite signing, my favorite signing for your team is, of course, Raheem Mostert from America's team, the Miami Dolphins, set right now to be back up. I heard today primarily third down back, maybe, but we'll talk about a little bit more about that later. Now, as the overall picture is made, what would you give yourself? What would you give the team a grade wise for the things you kept and the things that went away? What would you give them a grade for their free agency period?
Yeah, and I don't want to jump ahead. I don't know if we're going to get to draft or if this is part of it, but
we're going to get.
Okay, yeah. So I really give them like a B+, A-. I thought they've done a really good job. Like I said, to me, the most important thing is the vision. I've not seen the Raiders have a vision like this in a very long time. It usually seems like they're playing year by year. This seems like a more long-term plan scheme, even with the new coaching staff. So yeah, I say B+, A-.
I like it. All right, let's go to your tag team partner. I guess not really your tag team partner. Your
my nemesis.
Let's talk about your Broncos, and let's go to the free agency aspect of it. Now, we didn't really have a ton go on. Did have some key players, I guess skill position players leave, but nothing crazy. And did do some decent signings in the offseason. So talk to me first about the players that you like the most that's come in, or what you like the most about the ones who've left.
Yeah, I was so glad to see that Javonte Williams left. I was ready to help him pack and drive him down to his new team. The funny thing, on my personal Twitter, I was banging the table for J.K. Dobbins for months and months and months. That late signing, I think, has really flown under the radar. He's a 1,000-yard back when he's healthy, and when you consider that Denver has been among the least injured teams in the league since Sean Payton took over, that really bodes well for Dobbins. Same thing with Evan Ingram. Denver hasn't had a legitimate receiving tight end, and I don't know how long. And I know he's not really an inline tight end, but he's kind of like the big slot that Payton has coveted, like the Marcus Wilsons of years past. So I think Evan Ingram is going to catch a ton of passes. And then you have defensively, we didn't really lose anybody on defense. We lost Tremont Smith. He's a really good special teams gunner. We signed Trent Sherfield and Sam Franklin to kind of compete for that gunner role. Obviously, our big additions were Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw. I don't actually think Greenlaw was their number one inside linebacker choice, but he is the hard-hitting tone setter that we've been missing. We haven't really invested enough resources into the inside linebacker position for years, and I was actually really hoping we would bring in Jermaine Pratt, because both Greenlaw and Alex Singleton are coming back from major injuries, because Greenlaw hurt his quad a little bit ago. I was really hoping that maybe we threw something to Jermaine Pratt as some insurance, but I largely like the Greenlaw signing. And then Talanoa Hufanga, I think when you consider that he's playing next to Brandon Jones, who is best in more of a free safety role where he can roam the back end, he's really good in coverage. And then you complement that with Hufanga, who's better closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to have a really nicely flowing safety room on the back end. I'm impressed because Denver really didn't have many opportunities to get better on defense just because the unit was so good, but they found a way to get better, including the Jahdae Barron pick in the NFL draft. But that really kind of finishes off our free agency moves. It wasn't necessarily signing the best players to the biggest deals. It was more so about, and this is what Sean Payton has been about for years, is finding players who fit what he wants to do. You know, a couple big names, Hufanga, Greenlaw, Ingram, those are big names, but they're not like earth-shattering names. But you contrast the Broncos now on paper to what they were at the end of the season. I mean, there are notable upgrades everywhere. And again, I think that's so impressive because this roster was underrated for such a long time. And on paper, it's like, where's the weakness? So I think the front office really did a nice job of shoring up the urgent weaknesses, and I'm not really sure they have another opportunity to improve the roster. I think it's really as good as any roster if you want to factor in just how good Bo Nix could be. We don't know that yet, but overall, I was very pleased with the free agency period. The Dobbins signing a couple weeks ago was really the icing on the cake for me.
Justin, you want to get in there? You had your hand up.
Yeah. So, Lou, I'm a 49ers fan, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Dre Greenlaw is the second best middle linebacker in the game when he's healthy. And the only reason he's not on the 49ers right now is because the best is Fred Warner. So, good job to you guys, really, and enjoy him. I miss him so much. He's one of my favorite jerseys that I have. Absolutely a dog. An absolute dog, and
he's
so good at coverage as well as on the line. Just going and filling those holes. He's just good everywhere.
And that's exactly what we've been missing. Like, I liked Cody Barton, I liked Alex Singleton, but they're just guys, right? I mean, they're just guys, and we need more than just a guy, especially when it's the middle of a defense. Because if the inside linebackers break down or they're not good enough, the whole defense is going to suffer. So I was glad to see that we made a notable move in the middle with Greenlaw.
And Luke, don't forget Justin when your boy steps up, because I know why he's doing this. Last year we did the Viking show, and I was talking free agency, and not one person talked about Andrew Van Ginkel, and I was like, bro. Like, coming from America's team, I know Van Ginkel got like the juice and that he's the one. And man, boy, he sure did show out. Let's go through some of these comments real quick. Freight Train talking about the crew from
What's good, Freight Train?
He's on it or she's on it, either one. True Raider, by the way, this was funny. Miami is just the Raiders of the AFC East. Just win already, man.
Oof.
I think he should patent that. Should they change that to just win baby to just win already?
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Just win already. April Ortiz.
That sounds like a podcast right there. Just win already.
Yeah, right.
I like that actually. That's good. April Ortiz said spicy. I don't know if she's talking about herself or spicy Raider girl, but there you go.
What's good, April? I just want to say, she's like huge AOC fan. I want someone to support me the way she supports AOC. That's of course Aiden O'Connell, our part-time starter, part-time whatever.
I thought you were talking about the politician.
Oh no, the quarterback, part-time starter, part-time backup.
Spicy from Mr. Raider Travis, and salute my brother Raider Travis Freight Train. All right, appreciate you guys. Hold on real quick. We got Freight Train, all right, and then boo to the whiner ponies and the Miami. Hey Castro, hello to you as well.
What's
Love
good,
it.
Eddie?
Lou,
I feel a little ganged up here. Justin's got the Terrell Davis is the man under his name there. Like, we don't get any love over here.
Hey, Spicy, I'm married to a Raiders fan. I got to hear all about your shit all the time.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Lou, give me a overall grade for the Broncos, just free agency wise. What you think? Give them a grade.
Yeah, I'll stick them a modest B+. I think they probably had some ideal top options that maybe weren't able to happen. Again, I don't think Greenlaw was their top option. Evan Ingram was a surprise cut, so I think they get an A for that. But overall, I mean, like let's be fair. All of these players have injury concerns, so I'm not going to give them an A+ and say this was the best offseason ever. Dobbins, Ingram, Hufanga, Greenlaw all have injury concerns. However, when they're healthy, and it's a big if, when they're healthy, they're all very good at what they do. So I'll say a B+ for now. It could, go down to a D or an F if they can't stay on the field, but it could go up to an A+ if we get 15 games from each player.
Yep, big risk, but could be big reward from those players for sure. April Ortiz says, "I got you, Spicy. You might go to for sure." And Raider Travis was talking to Justin, said you married the right woman then. LOL. All right, let's go to of course. Let's go to the rookies in the draft. We'll go back to Spicy on your draft, and some pretty big players coming over through the draft. So talk about it. Talk about the draft. Give me your best players other than Ashton Genty. No, I'm just kidding. Give me the best. Give me the best guys you think were the best, or maybe somebody you didn't think was that good. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the rate. 11 picks to start with, right? That's massive. So that's a lot of guys to play with. I thought they did a great job. This is it kind of to Lou's point, right? We don't really know. I could sit here and grade them, but until they take the field and we see their production, we don't really know. But at the same time, if you're going to throw out a grade, again, I think they're right there in the A- on paper, right? Wait to see. I think they've got probably 3 day one starters, and like you already mentioned running back Ashton Genty. That was a huge void that needed to be filled. I think Jack Betch, wide receiver. I think he's a day one starter. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Darian Porter, cornerback, position again that the Raiders needed to be filled. He could be a day one starter as well. And then they kind of randomly, I think it was random anyway, threw a couple quarterbacks in there because the quarterback position has just been so dire, right? I think they've got the guy locked in, but I think the competition with having those guys for backups and things like that. And by the way, I think Aiden O'Connell is a strong backup and they should keep him. But kind of throw those guys in the mix. But yeah, I think the Raiders did a really good job here. They got who else? They've got, I believe they got two defensive guys, right? Two defensive guys that can make a difference. Tonka being one of them. Like I said, I think this is the best draft the Raiders have had in a very long time. They did last year with, I think obviously everyone knows Brock Bowers was just crazy good. And he didn't even have a quarterback, right? Breaking records left and right with no quarterback, no running game. So,
Hey, April would say that he had a quarterback.
This is true. I know. She's going to come for me right now. I already know. Well, put it this way. Okay, not a consistent quarterback. I mean, he only started. O'Connell only started like half the game, and I forgot the other guy's name. I didn't actually forget, but there's no need to mention him, right? I think he's a backup on the Chiefs or something now at this point. But yeah, no consistent quarterback there. So yeah, draft picks for me, I think these guys are going to shine.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 picks in round 3, and I just kind of do or go off of what you were saying. I think you did get 2 offensive linemen right there in the 3rd round as well. So looking to shore up the line for Geno for now anyway. And I think it's good to start bringing in some young QBs. Geno's getting a little long in the tooth, as they say. So it's good to bring some young guys to learn under him and see how him and Pete Carroll interact and those type of things. So I think that was a good move for them as well. So I know you didn't want to give a grade, but can you give me what you think? That
like I said on paper, I give him an A-. I thought it was great, really. And like I said, I can't remember in recent times that the Raiders really had a good draft class.
April thinks Genty's about to go crazy, and AOC is going to get QB1 under Thomas E. Brady.
Right.
All right, Lou, let's go over your draft, my friend. Let's talk about it. Let's go over some of the draft picks. Tell me how, and then give me a grade overall on how you feel about it, and give me some of your favorite picks out of this year's draft.
Sure. I was watching. I had people over for the draft at my house. It was my fiance and my best friends, and the 19th pick was up, and it was the Buccaneers. And I about fell into the fetal position when they took Emeka Egbuka because he was my draft crush. And then to add insult to injury, we took Jahdae Barron, and at the time I was like, "What the heck are we taking a cornerback for?" And then the emotion kind of wore off, and I kind of understood the vision building on a strength. I don't love the Barron pick, but I understand where they were coming from. And then one thing that I am almost positive in saying is that the draft, that Denver wanted a tight end. I know we really liked Mason Taylor, but there was a run on tight ends, I think, near the top half of the 2nd round. And I really think Denver didn't see that coming. So I kind of think that's what spurred their trade down. So we traded down twice. We ended up going with Harvey, which I like his skill set, good vision, good footwork, which are 2 musts to be an NFL running back. And he's very explosive. So I like that pick fine. And then we went with Pat Bryant from Illinois. Biggest thing that sticks out to me with him is he's got really good hands, and every year in college he improved. So you like that linear growth, and you like the fact that he'll catch anything that comes his way. And then we had a couple of mid-round defensive guys. Savion Jones is an interesting one. I pulled up his draft profile, and he profiles very similarly, almost exactly, to John Franklin Myers, who's a free agent after this year. So I think that Savion Jones pick was kind of Denver setting the stage to let John Franklin Myers leave in free agency, just because we have so many mouths to feed on the defensive line. We're not going to be able to pay everybody, as much as I love JFM. And then we finished up the draft with an outside linebacker, Q Robinson. He seems to be a pass rush specialist initially. And then we got a punter, and we didn't take a tight end until our last pick late in the 7th round. Obviously, he's a former basketball player. He's 6'8", so Sean Payton picked him. So what does everyone say? Jimmy Graham. We're several years away from that being remotely a thing, but I think class-wise, I'm satisfied because I see that they drafted players for immediate contributions like Barron and Harvey, and I even think Pat Bryant can all get on the field and contribute immediately. But they also kept in mind that this thing goes beyond 2025 and you have to build for the future, right? You get a developmental tight end, you get 2 developmental defensive linemen, which is huge in the NFL. You have to be good in the trenches. And then even with Harvey and Barron, like they can help immediately, but I mean, there's nothing to say that they also can't help 5 to 7 years down the line. So I'm a fan of the draft, of the Broncos draft. I'm not a huge fan. Obviously I liked last year's draft a little bit better for obvious reasons, but that's why, they're professionals and I'm not an NFL general manager, so I'm only going to question them so much. But I mean, shoot, they've been wrong before. I've been wrong before. So again, only time will tell. But I don't mind the draft. I don't love it, but it is what it is.
What do you think grade wise? Are you giving it a C from what I sound like?
No, I don't think it's a C because I think again, like free agency, we drafted players that are they fit a specific skill set for what the Denver Broncos want to do. Again, instead of always taking the best player available, which is a common strategy that most teams use. I'm going to just leave it as a B, a B- to a B until proven otherwise. I mean, shoot, Barron hasn't signed his rookie deal yet, so that's something. He'll get it signed. There's no big deal there. I'll give it a B. It obviously has A upside if Barron is that Swiss Army knife on the back end, and if Harvey can be that RB1 that we need, and then, best case scenario, Pat Bryant, turns into a mini version of Michael Thomas. I think that's what they're hoping for. That would send this draft through the roof, but we'll give it a B for now.
I like it. Let's get to some of these comments. Deontay Thornton Jr. will be a starter day one, says the Freight Train. I love this by April. Min shit. I'll say it.
We can also call him little ass boy, as Mad Max Crosby likes to say.
I love it. AOC has potential still. Willie Wayne checking in. Spicy.
What's good, Willie?
Raiders. April Ortiz. The Geno signing is a flop for me, but when you're
I agree, April.
When you're AOC, what can you say? It looks like kind of everyone's kind of calling each other out here and just kind of. Oh, we got a Bronco in here. Hold on, I gotta pull the Bronco up. We got so many Raiders in here. I don't want to disrespect. There we go. Go Broncos. This is Hannah Wilson.
Shout out to my fiance Hannah for saying go Broncos. You get married in 5 days. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I told her there's all Raiders fans in the comments section, so she's bringing it action.
Damn,
look, she's brave. She popped in there. She's brave. I like her.
I know.
I hope she didn't see this. Broncos gonna be 6-11. Oh my goodness. Robert Pena 805. Talk that shit. All right, I love it. Thank you guys for your comments. That's awesome. Makes it a lot of fun. Now, before we get to our next section, we talked about what was, and we're going to talk about what is coming up. Before we do that, we do a little fun thing during the summer with our injury expert, Brian Scott. It's a little segment we call Percent to the Bench, where he kind of looks over a player's analytical history and also maybe even last year or maybe something that's come up, and he puts a percent to if he thinks that they're going to hit the bench this season due to injury. So we're going to start out. We'll go ladies first again. We'll go with the Raiders. We'll check out the Broncos later. Let's check it out. We're in the city. I was going to say that never sleeps, but I messed that up. So what happens here won't stay here, at least with the Percent to the Bench. We're in Vegas talking about the Raiders. What do you think tonight, Bri, for your Percent to the Bench for the Raiders?
Well, we got Geno Smith going to be making his debut with the Raiders, and he's actually coming into the season healthy with no preseason or offseason issues. I expect that he'll be fully healthy, ready to go. Clean bill of health, which helps as he, continues to climb the ladder in age at the quarterback position. I'm giving him a 10% chance to the bench. Moving along, we've got Jacoby Myers, the team's leading wide receiver last season. Doesn't carry any injury issues into the season this year, 2025. He did deal with a sprained ankle last year, which caused him to be questionable for multiple weeks throughout the midseason. But when he did return to the field, he was very productive. I'm giving him a percent to bench of 10% as well. And then Jack Beck, you might remember him. He was the gentleman who lost his brother in the New Orleans attacks, unfortunately. He had a season-ending knee injury. It was a mild MCL sprain for TCU in college. Got picked up by the Raiders in the second round, pick 58. Sounds like he's fully recovered. He should be good to go and make an impact at the wide receiver position for them. I'm giving him a percent to bench of 5%. He's young. He's healthy. He's motivated. Let's go Raiders.
A healthy Raider squad could mean big things for Vegas. All right, Brian, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time. All right, Brian, got a clean bill of health for those Raiders. Gotta like that. All right, like I said, we talked about what was. Let's talk about what is. Let's talk about this season.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, they're gonna see some serious shit.
All right. right, well, let's hit 88, and we'll go with the Broncos up first. We'll go to you, Lou. Let's first talk about players, and we're going to talk about just how you feel they're going to do this season. Let's go to skill positions first. Let's go to the quarterback position. Last year, by the way, bringing the fantasy to the fantasy show, ended QB number 7. I don't know who saw that coming, but please tell me, what do you think? What do you think his outlook looks like this year?
Oh man, do I love Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix as much as one man can love another man that don't know each other. Shoot. So Bo actually had a back injury. I think he actually sustained it the second Raiders game when we were in Vegas, and I think that kind of kept him at bay in terms of what he could do with his legs. Historically, with Sean Payton's offenses, you see heavy passing volume, right? Obviously, Drew Brees was very good just because he was surgical. So, but you typically always see a high passing volume in Sean Payton's offenses. So I think with Bo, there is high passing upside, like 4,000 yards, 35 touchdown type of upside. But even Sean Payton himself said he was a bit surprised at how mobile Bo was. And Sean Payton is going to is going to maximize his player's skill set every step of the way. So, I mean, in terms of fantasy upside, I mean, you just told me he was QB7 last year, and he was a rookie. And you add all these weapons, you add an efficient run game, the offensive line's returning. It was number 1 in pass and run blocking last year, according to ESPN. This has to, I mean, at the very best, this has to be flirting with QB1 upside. If Bo stays healthy and he's using his legs, if he's scrambling, if they dial up those QB draws, and if the passing offense takes a step forward, and it will take a step forward if the run game is efficient. You add Harvey and Dobbins, obviously running the ball opens up play action pass. So, maybe he finishes around QB5, QB6 this year. He's probably a weekly starter in fantasy football next year. I would feel comfortable on my fantasy team starting him most every week. Now, he's a human being, and not every week's going to be great, but I think there is a ton of upside with Bo in fantasy for sure.
I like it. We'll kick it to our fantasy experts here as you guys go along. So, Justin, do you agree with Lou? What do you think of Bo next season this year?
Yeah, so I just did a quick little scan real quick because I was like a little bit perplexed on how good Bo Nix was as a rusher as well. He's actually had a 500-yard season in his 7 years of college. I'm just kidding. I only had 5. But that same year, he had 14 rushing touchdowns for the Oregon Ducks. Dude's a stud. I mean, I have very limited Bo Nix spread across, but I'm very happy with the first-year result. He's definitely, in my opinion, not going to be QB1 just because there's so many other really diverse quarterbacks out there as far as like being able to really effectively run the ball and having plays designed for that. But he's definitely somebody I would consider to still be in the top 10 and maybe even with a couple injuries creep into that top 5.
I mean, not according to Freight Train, he had a fluke season according to him apparently. Daniel Berry, welcome in. Appreciate you. Thank you for dropping in and everyone else there with your fun comments. We appreciate it. All right, let's go to the running back position. And man, everyone was super excited about RJ Harvey. Then a little J.K. Dobbins got sprinkled into the mix. So talk to me, Lou. Tell me what you think of these guys. I also heard recently that they're kind of planning on J.K. Dobbins being like the 1A to RJ Harvey. But what are your thoughts? You tell me. You're the insider. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I think J.K. Dobbins is better than people think, and I know the injuries are such a red flag, but again, we have a very good training recovery staff, so I think he'll be able to stay on the field. The one thing that I will say about Dobbins is he offers really good pass protection, and when you're a running back and you can pass protect, you get on the field. So I do think Dobbins is going to be that 1A. I've kind of decided, I actually think this running back room as a whole is going to kind of function how it did a few years ago, where both a rookie Javonte Williams and a veteran Melvin Gordon both had over 900 yards rushing. I forget what their touchdown totals were, but the carries were almost split perfectly down the middle. They both ran for over 900 yards. And I know for fantasy people, that's like not the best thing because you want the runner, you want like a Bucky Irving, something like that. But I do think Dobbins is probably going to get most of the carries. Maybe it's like a 60-40, 55-45 split. So I would certainly roster Dobbins for sure. I mean, he has a little bit of receiving upside, but not as much as Harvey. So that kind of complicates it even more. Dobbins is the better runner and he can pass protect, but Harvey has more upside as a pass catcher. So I think for a fantasy perspective, this is kind of a mess. But I will say, Sean Payton has made it work with the Ingram and Kamaras of the world and some of his other duos that he's had early in his career. So I think people can rest easy knowing that Sean Payton is the play caller, and he will know how to get the most out of Harvey and Dobbins and to make sure that all the juice is squeezed out, if you will.
I like it. LeDuc, what do you think? Is this, my notes say feels like a fantasy hell. What do you think?
So on the surface, yes, it does feel like fantasy hell, but I think if you look deeper, this is a perfect fantasy opportunity for some value for your full long-term season. Because I do agree, Dobbins, Harvey, I do see them as a 1A, 1B situation for at least the start of the season. Peyton's going to do Harvey right and get him his touches, but not drive him into the ground. I think this is going to be a situation where Dobbins is going to be a perfect trade candidate if you just pick the right time of the season to boost your team at another position you might need help at, because I think he's going to look better at the first half than he does the second half, because they're going to eventually let Harvey get more and more of the workload. So, yeah, you can say it looks like fantasy hell. I see value in this.
I see handcuff is all I got to say. All right, let's go.
Work these days.
That's right. All right, Lou, let's go to the receivers. Obviously, Courtland Sutton. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, the guy was number 10 last year overall. Had a great season last year. Obviously, if you're in that camp of you think Bo Nix is going to have it, I think it'd be kind of obvious for you to say Courtland Sutton is going to have an equal to maybe even a little better year. But what do you think? What do you think of the receiver room? Is there someone else that we can maybe sneak in a little later that might be stepping up in this offense?
Yes, by Devon Vele. Devon Vele is going, if you're looking for the number 2 receiver, not obviously counting Evan Ingram, it will be Devon Vele. Now, I will say, over the last, the back 8 games of the regular season, Marvin Mims was actually on a 1,000-yard, 15-touchdown pace as a receiver. However, a lot of that were some of these designed wheel routes and just the go balls. Devon Vele is going to be the consistent number 2 in this offense. He was actually on pace for, I believe, about 65 receptions during his rookie year, but he missed those 4 games with an injury very early on. He was also a 27-year-old rookie. So, I mean, he's about as complete as you can get, right? Like there's probably not a huge ceiling here, but he's going to be the number 2. I think Sutton has a clear ceiling. He turns 30 this year. He's been a 1,000-ish yard guy. That's what you're going to get from him. Sutton and Vele are going to be the 2 pillars of the passing attack. And then Ingram, is probably going to be the 3rd. There's not this 1,500-yard, 12-touchdown guy in the offense. We just don't have that player. But I mean, there could be some frisky buy options with guys like Troy Franklin. He might catch a few touchdowns in the year. He could be a fun option. Pat Bryant might get on the field a little bit. I'm not a super duper fantasy expert, but I don't see a ton of crazy fantasy value down the depth chart. But I do see Courtland Sutton and Devon Vele as the top 2 guys in the passing attack. I really think Vele can actually flirt with 1,000 yards this year. I think he is flying under the radar a little bit because he was a 7th rounder, but we'll see.
All right. Sounds good to me. Thanks for the close-up, Justin. Meg, what do you think? You agree with Lou's assessment, or is there anyone else you think can step up in the offense?
No, I like Courtland Sutton, to be fair. I got him a couple of times across some of my mock drafts that I've got for my fantasy teams so far. So Courtland Sutton's my one to watch from Bronx, yeah.
I love it. Justin bringing the dogs out tonight. Let's go. All right, you brought him up a couple times, Lou, but where do you think Evan Ingram falls in the echelon of tight ends in this group, or is there someone else in there that might step up?
No, it's going to be Evan Ingram. Our tight end room still kind of stinks, which is kind of depressing because the tight end draft was so stinking deep. Caleb Lohner was our 7th rounder. He's going to be stuffed down the depth chart. He probably won't be a factor this year. Evan Ingram has been one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL since he entered the league. He averages 75 receptions over a 17-game season. And since he's that big slot that Sean Payton likes, he's someone you can throw all over the place. Evan Ingram is going to get a ton of passes thrown his way. He'll probably end up being the third option in the receiving game. He could flip-flop with Vele from week to week, second to third, third to second, but Evan Ingram is definitely going to have a ton of fantasy value. Sean Payton finally has a tight end in Denver. The first couple years he didn't. He had deck furniture and lawn chairs. That's basically Adam Troutman. No offense to him, but that's how it was. Evan Ingram is going to catch a ton of passes. I trust that he's going to stay on the field, and I do think there is I think it's almost too obvious. There's a lot of fantasy value with him.
Yeah, and I think when you speak fantasy value, that's perfectly assessed when it comes to Evan Ingram, because right now everyone's very scared and don't consider him an elite or someone you can grab, which means for fantasy purposes, that's someone you can wait on and not worry about your tight end position, potentially get him way late in rounds and end up with a potential league winner at the tight end spot. He could smash his ADP. You know how Sean Payton, you mentioned it. We know how he loves the tight end position. And Evan Ingram is a player. Like, he can play as long, of course, as he can stay healthy. But that's one of those things in fantasy we just can't predict. But that is something on our mind anyway. But the value for him could be astronomical as far as where you're getting him in the draft. So I love that assessment. All right, Spice.
The ninth tight end currently in ADP, so there's massive value there.
Absolutely. All right, so Spicy, let's go to you. Let's talk about your Raiders. Let's talk about Geno Smith. How do you think he does this year? Last year, he was ranked 13th as far as fantasy stats go. Now he has a little bit of downgrade in weapons, although, Brock Bowers not too shabby, I would say. So what do you think? How do you think he plays this season? How well do you think he'll do?
Yeah, real quick, I want to say what's up to Raider Paul, Jack Kenna, Aloha Rick. I see some new people in the chat, represent Raider Nation. So what's good, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. I'll be honest, I've never participated in fantasy football, so I'll do my best to give my insight here on this. So how do I think? 13. What's that? Middle of the road. So you said less weapons. I don't know. Listen, I don't know the Seahawks team super well, but I like the weapons that he has to work with. They're going to be working the 2 tight end. I think a lot of the time. Plus, they've got, like you said, we got Genty with the running game in full effect, and then we've got Jacoby Myers and wide receiver, and then the new guy Jack Betch. That's a lot of weapons and young talent. So a lot of that is to be determined, but I think all I can say is I think he improves.
Your girl April disagrees. She says, "Do not pick Geno as a fantasy cloud." Love it. LeDuc, what do you think? Where do you think?
Her hate is consistent. Her hate is consistent.
I see that. What do you think, LeDuc? Where do you think Geno falls this year?
I think it's going to be a regression from last year. I love the enthusiasm from Spicy on the weapons in Vegas, but it really comes down to he's not going to have DK Metcalf. He's not going to have the veteran of Tyler Lockett, even though his skill level output was lower in the last few years here. But it's going to be a difference, and unfortunately, I do think it's going to be a step back. So Geno Smith is someone I'm just going to stay away from because, like you said, he's got a lot of potentially great weapons here. Ashton Jeanty is obviously, we'll get to him, but I just think there's too many question marks with his weapons to go all in on Geno Smith as a fantasy starter.
Yeah, it's now the familiarity with Pete Carroll, that's in his favor. Now, as you brought it up, Spicy, he does have some good young talent, but that does take time to get those connections made, depending on how fast, those people work with him. So we'll see. It's a wait and see, but I agree with you, LeDuc. I think he's just a little more in the mid-tier range right now due to the downgrade of weapons. Just a bit, but we'll see. All right, let's go to the...
that does make sense, right? If you look at it, there are certainly 12, 13 quarterbacks that are better in terms of numbers that
Bo
they'll
Nix
probably
is one of
put
them.
out. Yeah, we'll see.
It does-
Again, I don't even know how the fantasy stuff works. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all good. Well, I mentioned that to you in the text. It's really just how they perform. How well do you think they'll do throughout the season? So that's really all fantasy is how well they do equals points. That's pretty much it. All right, but let's talk about the running back position. Obviously, we know we got Mr. Genty in the room. So what do you think? What do you think of his potential this year? And there's anybody else in that backfield you feel might step up?
Ooh, I think his potential is going to be great. I think it's going to. We'll see how it goes early on, right? Because the line's going to be important. I'm still not 100% sold that line is what it needs to be. They are working a little bit with his stance. I think they've changed it a little bit because he does run straight up, which is kind of unorthodox. He says it so he can see over the defense. I think they're working on kind of changing that. But yeah, I think he'll do really well in terms of anybody else. No, I don't think so. Right? We kind of have the running game issue for years now, I think. Well, I guess ever since, Josh Jacobs left. But yeah, I don't see really any other potential back there. So it's
Boy,
him.
These Raiders fans, they just get in it, boy. I saw Blow Nix earlier. I got Bo Nix is the worst QB in the AFC West. This is great. This is what rivalry shows are supposed to be about. I love it. Meg, what do you think of Ashton this season? What do you think of this running back for the Raiders? Is Ashton somebody you're going to be trying to draft this year?
100%. Already in one of my drafts, I've got him in a cheeky little trade. So I'm pretty pleased with that one. He was one that during the draft, I predicted him going to the Raiders, to be fair, in all of my mocks in the build up. And I think he's going to do really well there. I think, looking at some of the weapons, I've got the Raiders, doing better than anybody's expecting this season. I think that compared to last season, looking at that young talent like Spicy was saying, we've got Ashton Genty, you've got Brock Bowers on there. I don't hate Geno Smith, but I don't know if he's your guy overall long term.
Sure.
I also am a bit of an Aidan O'Connell lover as well. So,
You are an Aidan O'Connell level as well. Is that what you said? There you go, April.
So I'm just going to say this. I said it on Friday, so I'm going to keep repeating myself. But I will say this. I did make this shout out to Ashton. I truly believe he is going to break Gale Sayers' single season overall yards record, because the fact of the matter is you have Geno Smith. Yes. You have Chip Kelly offense, which means fast pace. Lots of touches for Ashton, because there is nobody else. No disrespect to Raheem the Dream. I appreciate you, but he's not going to feed into this guy's carries and the amount of work he's going to get. And we've seen in college that this guy can take that type of load and make big things happen. I think Ashton Genty, for me, is going to be close to, if not one of the best fantasy assets this season. I'm looking for him in all drafts. For sure. Okay, let's go to the receiver position. So, I said you downgraded, so I'm sorry, but what do you think? Talk about your receiver.
We think we downgraded. So what got
No,
worse?
I said I thought Geno downgraded.
I see.
No disrespect to your skill players, but all right. Talk to me about your receivers, though. Tell me some guys you like and things that guys that'll show out this year.
Yeah, I think Jacoby's still going to do his thing. He's still going to get the yards. Like I said earlier, I think Jack Betch, the new rookie that the Raiders just drafted, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. He wasn't really on my draft card. The Raiders chose him. Then you kind of look into what he can do, and I think he could really be an asset. I don't know how fantasy football works in the terms of, like, is Brock Bowers a receiver?
Yeah, he's a tight end.
Well, I know he's a tight end, but does it work as I don't know. Like, does that count as points for receivers? I don't know how it works.
Receiving stats.
He gets receiving stats but there's a tight end position. So
there's a separate position. Okay, so he doesn't count for this. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Thank you. I definitely know he's a tight end. Like I said, I don't know how fantasy football works. So I don't know if it counts for points.
I'm putting you in you're getting in a league this year. That's it. You got to figure out. I'm going to put you in one. All right.
You gotta do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of top receivers in the league, though. So I don't know where they kind of like fell in line last year. So you guys tell me. Right. You're the fantasy experts.
That's right. All right, let's go to our fantasy expert Justin on this one. Besides Jacoby Myers, give me some guys you think in this receiving core that might be somebody that you might want to target later.
All right, so I want to get this out real quick. I think Chip Kelly is low-key one of the biggest steals because he comes from the OSU offense that he just absolutely took to the national title game, riding 3 wide receivers. Jeremiah Smith, who is an absolute monster, should be drafted right away. They should break the rules for him, just like they did Maurice Claret. Then they did Carnell Tate, and they had Emeka Egbuka. And all 3 of those guys kind of fit the profile what the Raiders got now. Jeremiah Smith was your deep ball, big body playmaker, Dante Thornton. Carnell Tate was your fast, speedy guy on the outside, Trey Tucker. And then next thing you know, what is this? Emeka Egbuka. That could be one of 2. You have Jacoby Myers, you have Brock Bowers. Both work really good out of the slot. Brock Bowers is one of my favorite non-inline tight ends. He's one of my favorite wide tight ends. I like them. I also like what Spicy said. If you put more 2 tight end sets in there, then you get Michael Mayer in there, who's absolutely a beast too. Dude is gone completely under the radar because they haven't used him because they have Bowers. I think this is going to be an explosive year for the Raiders. I mean, the defense is really going to be the telling point because if they can actually hold people to under 35 points or 35 points or less, then maybe they'll be good. But I think it's not going to be a problem with the offense. I think that the offense is going to flow really nicely in Chip Kelly's system. And Chip Kelly is very much a favoritism of throwing the ball to the running back as well. So the Gale Sayers thing might hold water if, he can get over the fact that the line is kind of like really favored to the left side, not really the right side.
I love it. Can
I just add to that? Not only holding teams to 35, we got to start consistently scoring well over 20. Okay.
1,000%. And that's what I'm saying. I think this year they have the weapons to actually score over 20 on a game-to-game basis, like even against the best teams like Kansas City, Denver, San Diego, or I will never get San Diego out of my head for the Chargers, or the Chargers. The tough defenses. I think they can consistently score 20. I think they need to work that defense to have them get scored on less than 20. If they can do that, Raiders are really heading up.
Jack, you made a comment earlier. Oh, fantasy football. Made a little emoji face. This is a fantasy show, bro. What do you want? All right, come on, get out the back here. All right, he loves you. He wanted to let you know he loves you though, and he hopes you and Chris do a show again. But guess what? She doing this show, partner, and you're here watching this one. So hit like and let's move on. All right, just
we'll be back though, Jack. We'll be back Wednesday nights. We did a few about 3 in a row a little earlier, but once the training camp starts getting back in gear, we'll be back Wednesday nights for the Spicy Shield Talk.
Love it. April said we had weapons last year, but we didn't have it. I think she meant old. She said an old line, but I got what you meant. She even corrected her, but we knew what you meant. So I would bring up Brock Bowers, but what for? You've already mentioned him. We already know he's top. He's going to be one of the top end tight ends this season. I don't see any downgrading from last year. What do you think, though, Spicy? Real quick, do you think? Is there any chance Brock Bowers comes down from his cloud that he was on from last season?
No, absolutely not. Like I said earlier, I think he's only getting started. And now that he's going to have a consistent quarterback to throw to him, he's got a more intelligent, more visionary of a coaching staff, and more weapons. I think the weapons are just going to help Brock Bowers. Everyone knew they were going to throw to Brock Bowers last season because that's all we really had. All right, now there's options. So I think he balls out even more this year. I'm excited to see what he does.
Number 1 tight end overall.
All right, Meg, we appreciate you. Where can we follow you? Meg's got to head out. It's 3 in the damn morning, and she got to get up to work. But where can everybody follow you at?
All over socials, ballers_Meg is the same handle everywhere.
All right. We appreciate you. I know you're a champ for making these shows, so we do appreciate you. We'll send you out with one more. We got one more percent to the bench from Brian on the Denver Broncos. I think this is the first one we did, by the way. So might have been a little technical difficulties on this one, but so my bad. But let's see what Brian has to say about the Broncos' health. We are mile high tonight with our percent to the bench with Brian Scott from the Injury List podcast. Who do we got tonight for the Broncos, Brian?
Well, some familiar names popping up on the list. We've got Courtland Sutton, wide receiver. 2024, he managed to sprain his foot in December, limited some of his offseason workout, but he should have no lingering injury issues coming into camp this season. As we head into 2025, I expect him to be fully healthy and extend his comeback and continue to increase his production coming back from a 2020 ACL reconstruction. I give him a 10% chance to the bench at 30 years old now. Time's ticking. He's got to make some productive years, and this is the time to do it. Next up, we got J.K. Dobbins at the running back position. J.K. Dobbins, guys, he's now not on the Chargers. He's on the Broncos. They got him for a pretty good price. I think it was like 2-point-something guaranteed, potential to make $5 million on his new contract if he stays healthy. And that's the big question mark. 2024 saw him plagued with a season-ending injury. I believe it was his Achilles, if I'm not mistaken. Don't forget, he's had multiple knee issues dating back several years, and he's not getting any younger either. But if this guy can stay healthy, he is productive, and that's going to be the big question. I give him, unfortunately, a percent to bench of 35%, and that's being very modest on my end. I could have gone higher, but I want to see him succeed. I want to see him stay healthy. He adds physicality to that backfield, and if he's durable enough this year, he could be a big-time producer. And then to round it out for the Broncos, we got Evan Ingram. He was limited to 9 games in 2024 with a labrum issue and a hamstring issue. Produced a career-low 7.8 yards per catch. We expect him to come in fully healthy. He signed a 2-year, $23 million contract. I'm sure that's not what's guaranteed, but if he can just produce at what his expectations are, then he should do well with Bo Nix. I'm going to give him a 25% chance to the bench, only because he used to play for the Giants, and I know what you can expect because that's what I expected when he was on the Giants. So that sums it up for the Broncos. Good luck, guys.
All right. Thanks for that, Bri. Now, I got was the boring stuff. That wasn't boring. That was a lot of interesting stuff. I didn't mean to put it that way. But what I was trying to say is now we've entered the fun part of the show, where we're going to put your rivalries to the test. We're going to do our fantasy quiz show. Now, all these questions are framed around both of your teams. So when I ask the question, who has done something throughout history, that is just between your two squads. So just remember that as we play along. Set up just like Family Feud. I'll ask you the first question. Whoever answers first and gets an answer right will control the round. They'll get a chance to fill out that round. They'll get 3 strikes, of course, for wrong answers. If they get 3 strikes, the other person will get a chance to steal it. All right, let's get it running. It's time for the fantasy show.
There seems to be no sign of intelligence.
It's the fantasy quiz show.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's gonna be a long game.
Not going to be a long game tonight because we got AFC West experts in the building. Let's start with our first question.
You said it's Family Feud style, so can I get help from my family in the chat?
Hell no. It ain't.
Help me out, Raider Nation.
Let's call it single feud. How about that? Tonight, this first one, I felt it was kind of a layup. I felt all these were kind of layups because this was kind of easy. So don't worry, nothing too crazy. But here we go. First question in all-time history. I want to know between your two teams, who has the most passing yards?
Do we just shout it out?
Yep, shout it out. Well, it was already shouted. John Elway. John
I would have
Elway.
got it wrong anyway. I thought you meant the team because overall the Raiders lead as a team.
Yeah,
I thought it
this
was
is
a team.
these
I
are
would have
specific-
got it wrong anyway.
All right, all good. So we got Lou controlling the round here. So go ahead, my friend. You're up next. John Elway is number 1 on the list. Who you got next?
Wait, what?
It's Family Feud
Peyton
style,
Manning.
so
Peyton
Yeah,
Manning.
so
Who's next on the list? Like, who's
Is that what we're doing?
second?
Yeah, Lou is up. He controls.
Oh, but I can't say it. Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
don't know what I'm
you
doing.
That's the steal if he gets 3 strikes.
So I have to say who's below Elway.
Correct. You got it.
Okay.
Top
Okay.
control score.
I mean, it would. Ooh, I guess it would probably have to be Peyton.
Peyton Manning.
That is correct.
That is number 5 on this list. So you got number 1 and number 5. Who else you got, Lou?
Let's go with. Shoot, I don't know. Let's go with Jake the Snake, Jake Plummer.
Jake Plummer. Incorrect. All right, so you got 1 strike, 2 remaining, my friend.
And this is what was this? Passing yards, correct?
Yes, sir.
Shoot, I'm so bad with Broncos history because I was born in 1997.
Well, think Raiders history too. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, it's both teams? I didn't. Okay, no, I didn't know that.
you don't
I didn't
gotta
get
put your
that
neck too
part.
far out there for this.
Well,
one.
all right. Well, then let's just go with Derek Eyeliner Carr.
It's a makeup ready. He is number 2 on this list, 35,222 yards. Elway, by the way, 51,475. Peyton, 17,112. You got 1 strike. You only got 1 strike, and you only have 2 answers remaining. So who else you got?
Oh my gosh, because I got to think of the Raiders, and that makes me feel icky inside. Shoot,
You should probably stick with thinking of the Raiders, though, because I don't think there are any Broncos coming in close.
I'm gonna take just a very wild and probably wrong guess and say Ken Stabler.
Kenny Stabler.
That is correct.
He is number 3 on the list, 19,078. Fun fact, I have my picture with Mr. Stabler when he was playing with the Saints and they scrimmaged Miami. It's funny enough. All right, you got 1 strike only, and you only have 1 answer remaining. He is number 4 on this list. Can you close out the round?
Ooh, shoot. The Raiders have had stinky QBs forever, so let's just go with Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler.
That's low key offensive to think that he would be better than some of the Raiders' greats, but okay.
I love it. I love it. All right, there's 1 left, and you only got 1 strike left, Lou. You're going to give Spicy a chance to get in here if you don't get it. Who's number 4 on the list?
It's probably a Raiders quarterback that I'm blanking on, and I don't know. It's definitely not Jamarcus Russell. That's for gosh darn sure. Shoot, it's probably some Raiders quarterback, and I just don't have any sort of guess, and I'm oh man.
That's what I think too, Raider Travis, by the way.
I don't know if I have a guess, and it's probably so obvious. I'm gonna go no answer, actually.
No.
Hello? You play to win the game.
That's what you do indeed. Spicy, can you steal it? He's number 4 on the list.
Yeah, I thought I had it. And now I'm tripped up. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon.
Head and neck above the rest.
Is the next one, which I was almost gonna say, Daryl LaMonica?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I only wrote down the 5, so I don't
Okay.
Here we go. But Rich Gannon's number 4, just a little bit above Peyton, 17,585. I just looked in the comments because I have to look at the sheet, and all I can see is Gannon.
No, April said Tebow.
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna let her slide with that. It's already gone off the comment screen.
All right, well, Spicy's up 1-0. Let's go to question number 2. Now that we've kind of worked our way through that, now again, we're going all-time history between both of your teams individually. I want to know who all-time has the most rushing yards.
Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis. So she has Terrell Davis. Actually, you do take control of the round, but he is number 2 on this list. So, but you have control, Spicy.
I felt like that might be the only name he knew on his team, so I didn't want to give up Marcus Allen.
Wow. Damn. All right, Spicy. What else you got for this round?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Squeaked in this list. He's number 5 on the list with 5,545 yards. There's 3 more, and you have no strikes.
Well, now I know no Broncos guys, so I hope it's none of them. Sheesh. Gosh, who have the Raiders had? Did Bo Jackson play long enough? I'm gonna go Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Bo don't know how to get on this list. All right, what else?
He needed a little more time. Do I have to think of? I honestly don't know any Broncos. So I have to think of Raiders guys, I guess. Napoleon Kaufman.
Napoleon Kaufman.
I don't know any Broncos.
Man,
I gave up the one Bronco I knew.
You'll be kicking yourself in a minute. All right, so you got 2 strikes, 1 answer correct. You got a full list, or sorry, 2 answers correct. My bad. So you got 3 answers on here that you can snag, but you can't get anything wrong. Or you're going to give Lou?
She has 3 answers correct. She has 3 answers correct.
I thought I got 3, right?
Yeah, she's got 3.
Marcus and Josh Jacobs.
Marcus, I don't know how I missed that. My bad. All right, so you got 2 left, 2 answers right, only 1 strike remaining. Thank you, Josh.
Oh wait! Hold on, I'm not thinking correctly. Does it have to be on the Raiders or a career who played for I'm gonna say Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch. So, yeah, that was 3 wrong, Dustin? No, or am I wrong?
Yeah. That's what I said. Does it have to be I don't know what the stats are.
It's really unfair. It's my team.
Yeah. So now, I think you answered Peyton Manning earlier, and it's when they played on the team. So. Peyton Manning,
did he say that? Okay.
He was only number 5 on that Broncos.
Okay, then that was a bad guess. Good.
You're good. Lou, you got a chance to steal it, and there's only 2 answers up on here. Woo, these are some tricky ones here. So, can you steal it?
Probably not, because my history is whatever. The best answer I can think of will be former Broncos Super Bowl champion C.J. Anderson.
C.J. Anderson.
Probably wrong.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Okay, sorry about that, Lou. So there's actually a Bronco and a Raider here, so we can't call either one of you out. So Floyd Little was number 3.
Floyd Little, because of course,
6,323 yards, and for the Raiders at number 4. Mark Van Egan, he was number 4 on this list, 5,907. So,
honestly, I forgot about him. I'm not gonna lie.
Raider Travis.
Travis, where were you a minute ago?
He was there. We just weren't telling him.
Oh, he was. I just wasn't paying attention. Damn, sorry. I gotta remember to look for my Family Feud help.
Spicy, you're up 2-0, so you can close this bad boy out if you take this round. We got top 5 answers on the board. And again, all-time history between both teams. I'm looking for the guy who has the most receiving yards between the 2 teams.
Rod Smith.
Rod Smith.
That is correct.
Rod Smith is correct. He's number 2 on this list, 11,389. All right, Lou, try to close this out.
So we'll go Tim Brown.
Tim Brown.
That is correct.
Number uno on the list, 14,374. All right, you got 1 and 2. What else you got?
We will go with Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas. Number 3, 9,055. All right, going 1, 2, 3. Now you need 4 or 5.
I assume, if it's receiving yards, let's just go with Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Oh.
Did not make the cut here. All right. He was actually number 6. But that one I did remember because I was surprised about that too.
Yeah, let's go with Ed McCaffrey then.
Ed McCaffrey.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Now he's really up against it. You got 2 strikes, but you got 2 answers remaining. They're number 4 and number 4 and number 5 on the list.
Man. Let's go with Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders. All Broncos.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
All right. Spicy. You could steal the whole game.
So how many do I need? How many do I need?
One. You just need
Just
one.
one?
You got 2 answers there.
Fred Biliknikov.
Fred Biliknikov for the win.
Great.
Wow.
Then probably Cliff Branch.
That is actually correct as well. He was number 5. It was like we had the Broncos up at the top and then the Raiders at the bottom. It was like
how it usually is.
Biletnikoff was number 4, 8,974. Cliff Branch, number 5, 8,685. Congratulations, Spicy. You are today's winner. And
I wanted the autumn win, but we'll take that.
And unfortunately, Lou, I know you're new to this, and I hate to do this to you, but unfortunately, on our show, when someone loses, we have to take them out in a particular way. My boy Justin will send you out the right way. Let's go.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Play kind stupid.
Hey, that kind of hit us both there, though, with the Pete Carroll.
It was so funny when you were talking about Pete Carroll earlier. I started smirking because I just made that video this morning, so I started smirking when you were saying it. I was like, "Oh, that's so funny."
Question, sir. Do we get to watch that all summer for Dumbass of the Week? Because I'm going to be ecstatic. Fuck
yeah,
yes.
I'm sure.
Patriots, baby.
Listen, I don't want to be making. I'm not making videos all year, bro. I'll just let you know that right now. All right,
Okay, really quickly, just for fun, for trivia. Can we just say the most important stat in this rivalry is that the Raiders are superior over the Broncos with an overall record of 72, 55, and 2, and that's the only one that matters.
Wow, I have 73, 56, and 2.
Well, I think that counts, and that might count playoffs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, yeah. That was actually the tiebreaker question. If you see who knew it, well, I guess you would have known if we had got there. So, wow. All right, well, let's thank you guys so very much for joining us tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope your fellow Broncos country and Raider Nation fans had a good time as well. Lou, where can everyone find, subscribe, and get all
just a reminder before we go, I do want to get that raffle in.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Okay, all right.
All right, Lou, where can we find, subscribe, and get all your stuff, my friend?
Sure. I do a ton of writing on Predominantly Orange, so you can just go to predominantlyorange.com to read my latest articles. I crank out about 10 a day on a good day. My personal Twitter is Lou Scataglia PO. I don't really create any other content outside of my written work, but I do a lot of work with on Predominantly Orange and NFL Spin Zone. So if you guys need and want some football content to absorb, that's where I'm at. And yeah, it was a blast. Thank you guys for having me. This is past my bedtime, but I enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, 10 articles a day.
We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you staying up. I know Meg's like, shut up. Lulu, we appreciate you joining us tonight. I hope you had a good time. All right, Spicy, before I ask you where to follow, subscribe, let's get it on. Let's do your raffle.
All right, let's do it. Thank you. Yeah, this is again for the home opener. The Raiders are playing the Chargers at home Monday Night Football. So let's see. I got the little spinner here. Hopefully you can see it. They're just numbered, so everyone knows their number. Everyone in the chat knows their number. If not, you can go to my Facebook page to find out if that number is yours. And yeah, let's just get it going here. Hold on a sec. My bad. It's thinking. It's
kind of mad I didn't get a number.
Yeah, I pulled you up big so that way people could see it.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. All right, let's do it here in just a second. It's taking me through some nonsense. My bad. But good luck to everybody. And we might have some others throughout the season. So check Spicy Raider Girl if you want to enter in some of these raffles. Just give me the tickets. Everybody wants to be the winner. All right, here we go. I think you can see it there.
Yep. Oh, yep.
All right, it says it's running. So we'll see who the number is. 79. So who is 79? Let me look here. Let me announce. I've got the sheet pulled up here. 79. Oh, my co-host, Scotty Waddy Raider 1. He is my co-host on Monday Night Madness. So number 79, he's the winner. You have it here. I'm recording it, so I'll post it in the what do you say? On my Facebook.
Co-host got it. Well, I smell rigged all over the place. Oh, trust me, we know how that goes. Where can everyone follow, subscribe, and get all of your great content?
Yeah, thank you so much. So For Life on Raider Story on everything. We're obviously over here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Subscribe to For Life on Raider Story. Also subscribe to this channel here. Big thumbs up to both my channel and theirs as well. And you can find us on Insta, TikTok, Facebook, all For Life on Raider Story. We have our show Monday Night Madness with my co-host Scotty Waddy Raider 1 and Omar, and then Wednesday nights with my boy Chris from Protect the Shield, the Spicy Shield Talk. Both shows are at 6 o'clock Pacific time.
Nice. Scotty's gonna be excited for next Monday. That is faux show. All right, guys. Well, thank you again both for coming in tonight. We truly appreciate you. Good luck to both your teams this season. Should be a very exciting one. And stick and stay here for this Friday. I would say next Friday. This Friday, we're going to be featuring a couple of teams you guys probably are familiar with, the Chiefs and the Chargers. So make sure you check it out.
Oh, they agree.
One thing we can agree on.
Yes.
Right. For Lou, Spicy, LeDuc, Justin, and Meg, we appreciate you, and we are out.